What's going on, everyone? Talen here, and welcome to another uniform review video. Alright, so we're going to be taking a look at Odin's new uniform today. We have his all-father look, and I must say this uniform is looking quite badass. I really like the design and look of this uniform. It really fits Odin here. It makes him just look super powerful, and the uniform itself actually has some really cool skill animations as well that kind of brings out the power of Odin. So let's go ahead and see what the uniform is actually going to do here for Odin. So the uniform bonus is going to be increased chain hit damage by 20%, which is actually a really good bonus because he does have a lot of hits that kind of rack up because he's got a lot of, well, not a lot, but he's got a cancelable skill, and then he's got skills with a lot of hits. So it really comes in handy here. We're having 5 skill changes. First skill here is pretty much just a standard skill. The second skill, we have some ignore defense, which goes down to minus 40%, ignores immunity. And we have a guard hit, 4 hits for 5 seconds. The third skill here, we've got an illusion where he summons a really cool raven to fly around and actually heal him. In the skill preview, it heals for 10% of his max HP, and it's up for 15 seconds. I think the heal only goes off like every 3 seconds or something like that, though. So you're only going to get the you're going to get like a 30 or 40% heal or something total off of it, which is actually quite nice. We have a 100% chance to be immune to all damage for 4 seconds. We got some damage accumulation here, which is damage dealt, which is quite nice. And it adds up to, is that 100% all attack? Yeah, it looks like 100% all attack with the damage accumulation. The fourth skill here ignores target's dodge by 100%, which is really nice. It'll help out in timeline if you're fighting anyone with a really high dodge. And then we have the fifth skill here, which is going to be some more all defense down, which is fantastic because it stacks up to minus 65% with this one here, which, as we know, is a nice cutoff there for using the debuff leadership. So if we use was it Dr. Voodoo or White Fox, then Odin's going to be hitting really hard in World Boss Ultimate because he's going to stack up to like minus 86%, 87%, whatever it is. Either way, it's enough for the damage to noticeably spike, which is fantastic. And we have 4 seconds of invincibility. We have some all attack, all defense by 30%, and then crit rate by 30%. And what's really nice about this all defense is it does last for 10 seconds, which is really going to help out with his skill rotation because you have a lot of skills that you kind of want to cycle through to keep him protected. So let's go ahead and hop into the skill preview here and see what the actual skill animations look like. So here we go. The first skill, just kind of reminiscent of his fourth skill, I think, without the uniform, or it looks similar to that. So he just does the slashes right there, and then he just charges through with the spear. The second skill right here, he just kind of winds up, and you can just pivot around a little bit, but you can't really go like forward or, oh, you can go forward or back. It's just they were suctioned to me because he draws them in. That's why it didn't look like it. So yeah, you can kind of move around here. This only gives you a guard hit, so keep that in mind. You don't have any damage immunity, so you can still get bled while doing this, and poisoned or anything like that. So not the best skill to use in World Boss Ultimate unless you use the third or the fifth skill to kind of get the immunity from those, and then you can go into it and be safe. The fourth skill here is, yeah, it just makes kind of like a nice bubble right there, and just yeah, does that spear swipe, and it is an iframe, which is really good. But as you can see, the iframe goes away like right before he does the swipe with the spear. So I find that when I was trying him out, that I was canceling the skill a lot of times before I would actually get that spear attack there, just because I'd be taking way too much damage, because I don't know, he's still really squishy. At least in World Boss Ultimate, he was dying very easily, even with the heal. So here we go with the heal, and you get all of the stuff from the third skill, it looks like, immediately. So that's really good, because if we go look at all the buffs up there, you can see them counting down, and then boom, you can see them go up like instantly. So you can do an instant cancel on the third skill, get that damage immunity, and go into whatever skill you want to afterwards. And then we have the fifth skill here, where it summons like a big version of Odin there, and then he just kind of slams his sword down, and then it rains fire. And that fire that's raining down there is what's going to apply your all defense down, so you can't really cancel this skill early, or well, you can cancel it early, but you have to cancel it like after you see like the big Odin appear, or else you don't get the fire to come down. But that's what applies the all defense down, so you can't really proc too effectively on the 5th skill to kind of stack up the all defense down. So I find myself trying to proc on like the 4th skill. If you have a damage proc on him, and his skills just don't really seem too damage proc friendly. Luckily he does a lot of damage with the all defense down, but to really get the most out of Odin, you are going to need like a CTP of Rage on him, because that activation just really suits his skill rotation and his skill style. Whereas a damage proc, if you try to line up the damage proc, he just ends up dying so easily, because you have to stick to a very, very strict skill rotation on him to keep him alive in World Boss Ultimate. So the rotation that I like to use is we start with the 5th skill here. You let it play out until he slams the sword down. As soon as you get the boom from the sword, you hop into the 4th skill. And then right when the iframe is going to end, you go into the 2nd skill, and then you can go into, or the 3rd skill I mean, for the damage immunity, and then you go into the 2nd skill while you're waiting for the 5th skill to come back, and then you just kind of repeat the process there. So boom, wait for the slam, 4th skill, go in, we get that, and then we go there, and then there. So that's kind of the rotation that I've found that keeps him alive the best. If you want to kind of line up your damage proc a little bit, then you're going to have to mess around a little bit with the skills, because he does have a really long cooldown on the 5th and the 3rd skill with the immunities on it. So that's why if you try to, you know, stagger your skills a little bit so that you're going to have your damage proc line up to right after the 5th skill, so you know you can cancel the 5th skill right here, and then you can go into this or something like that for your damage proc to try to get a little more damage off. I find that he ends up dying really quickly. So let's go ahead and go over his build real fast, and then I will showcase him a little bit in World Boss Ultimate here. So right now I just have the uniform at what do I have at? Just rare, yeah, because I'm really low on black antimatter, so I can't really afford to do much else with him, because I do want to try to get Odin to tier 3, so I'm saving that black antimatter for that. So the first 2 options here are just Thor Team Suit, Ebony Maw, Infinity War. And then the other one was, whoops, the next one is Cyclops, which I didn't even have anyway, so I didn't really feel too bad about skipping, or not ranking up the uniform a little bit higher. But now we want to go over to Odin here, and I'll show you my build real quick. For some odd reason, I have 1-star Urus on him. I don't know why those are there. I don't remember ever putting those on, but those are just 1-star defense and HP Uru, so that's not really doing anything from right now. When I actually end up building him a little more, when I get him closer to tier 3, then I'm going to be filling out the Uru a little bit more. The skills, I have the 2nd skill leveled up for the all defense down, the 3rd for the accumulation. The 4th, I don't think you need to level up, because I think you get the ignore dodge already at 100%, but if not, then you want to level it up for the ignore dodge. The 5th skill here we have leveled up for the attack boost and the all defense down. And then I didn't change any of his passives or anything like that, so we don't have to worry about any of those. The ISO 8 set I have on him is just some 4 stars right now for Power of Angry Hulk, so I am going to be upgrading that as well in the future. And then the Obelisk I have on him is Guard Break Immunity, Mind Damage, and a 140 proc. So I do have a proc on him right now, and I do like the Guard Break Immunity, but luckily I don't think it's going to be needed, because he's in an iframe for the 5th skill, he's going to be in an iframe for the 4th skill. The 3rd skill, it doesn't matter if it gets guard broken out of it, because you can instant cancel it and still get the effects. When you hop into the 3rd or the 2nd skill after the 3rd skill, though, you can get guard broken out of that and lose a little bit of damage. But again, most of your damage is just going to be from 4 or 5 kind of residual damage, and then the skill itself. When I already went over the uniform, if we take a look at the details here. I have max ignore defense, I have pretty close to max skill cooldown, or just 1% off. We have max attack speed, and then our crit rate and crit damage are quite low, so that's kind of my kind of low end build here on Odin. But like I said, when I get him in tier 3, I'm going to be investing a little bit more in him, and I don't know if I'd necessarily consider Odin a better tier 3 over Silver Surfer. So if you were waiting to see what Odin looked like, I think that Silver Surfer has a little bit more value, especially in PvP. Odin can do well in PvP, but Odin does get countered, coincidentally, by Silver Surfer, because Silver Surfer can do the ignore iframe on his 3rd skill, and it just kind of wrecks Odin. But Odin does have kind of priority on his 5th skill right here, which makes him really good actually in PvP against like Jean Grey and just some of the other meta characters, excluding Silver Surfer, because it's kind of like Thanos' skill. As long as you don't get like canceled out of it like literally like immediately, if he starts any of the skill animation, he'll continue to play it, it seems like, even if he loses targeting of the enemy, which is nice. So that's good for PvP. But anyway, let's go hop into a little bit of World Boss Ultimate and see what kind of damage we can do. Alright, so here we are over at Coal Obsidian, because of course Odin is energy damage based. We're going to be going against a stage 50 right here for my level 60 Odin. The team I have right now is just She-Hulk for her leadership against male types, and then we have Coulson for his tier 2 passive. Going to be using just some regular strikers here, so we're not going to be using any like crowd control strikers. You can use, of course, a mind control or charm striker if you want to, because Odin just has all defense down. He doesn't have any kind of CC, but he doesn't really need it if you stick to the skill rotation. So let's go ahead and hop in here and we'll show off his damage. So we're going to start with the 5th skill. Again, just wait for the sword. Boom, the sword goes down. Hop into the 4th skill, and then go 3, and then 2, and then go into the 5th skill when you have about 6 seconds left on the 3rd skill. So when you have around 6 seconds left, then you can go into that skill, and then you'll be able to stall long enough for the skill rotations to come off of cooldown. So this is just the rotation that I like to use. Eventually, you're going to get your all defense down to add up. Whoops, I canceled out a little too early there, but it looks like it's okay. We go here, and see how often we get canceled out of the 2nd skill. Just get guard broken out of it for some reason, even though I have guard break immunity, which is really annoying, because it looks like Cole has he penetrates guard break or something like that, because I have the issue a lot against Coal Obsidian with characters that have guard break immunity. I just get guard broken all the time. Alright, so here we go. Slam the sword down. There we go. Get that. And as you can see, when the all defense down has stacked up, you can see some spikes in his damage, which is quite nice. And this is not even using a debuff lead. So if I were to swap in Doc Voodoo here, then we'll start seeing some pretty nasty damage, which I'll show up in a second here. But yeah, as you can see, on a stage 50 here, at level 60, he's going to clear this just fine. So he does have enough damage for this. So Odin's looking pretty strong so far. And if you stick to the skill rotation, as you can see, I wasn't taking too much damage, and any of the residual kind of poison or bleed that I might have gotten was taken care of by the Raven, kind of healing me up a little bit throughout the battle. So let's go ahead and swap over to a debuff lead and see the difference in the damage. Alright, so now as you can see, we have Dr. Voodoo as our lead. So let's see if we can notice a difference in the damage here. So we'll switch on over and start this off. Alright, here we go. We're starting to add up with that all defense down already. As you can see, that 10 seconds just really helps so that you can keep building it up when you get to the 2nd skill there. So yeah, as you can see, the damage is noticeably better. Again, it's going to be even better when I get a CTP of Rage on him, so that I can consistently have a kind of damage boost on him, because right now with my regular Obelisk, we're not really proccing at, you know, very good times. We're proccing like in between skills, so we're not really getting any value out of it. But yeah, as you can see, the damage is quite nice here. And yeah, he's just level 60, which is quite nice. So I can't wait to see what he can do at tier 3 and even just level 70. So when I get him to level 70, I might test him out a little bit more, and then get him to tier 3. But anyway, let me know your thoughts below on Odin's new uniform here. Are you excited for it? Do you think he got enough? Do you think he needs more? Do you think it's going to make him kind of like a top tier option for any particular game mode? It looks like he's going to be really good in PvP, and then also he's hitting really hard here in World Boss Ultimate, so you could probably push pretty high in World Boss Ultimate. And also I'm curious to see what he can do in GBR, see what kind of raw damage he has and how much of it is actually dependent on the all defense down. So yeah, just let me know your thoughts below, and hopefully you guys enjoyed this video, and of course I will. Catch you in the next one.